Sit still and hear this truth. When you take a pen and write what you desire, you are doing far more than scribbling words. You are declaring reality. You are speaking not to the air, but to the very soul of the universe, and it listens. Writing is not a mere act of communication, it is a sacred act of creation. It is you saying, "This is mine. This is real. This is done." Most people think manifestation is about waiting, watching, wishing. But listen carefully, creation does not come from wishing. It comes from assuming. And there is no purer assumption than the one you etch with your hand. For when you write a thing down, you declare it with intention. And what is intention but the seed of reality? The universe responds not to your desperation, but to your conviction. And writing is conviction on paper. Something heals a business. You write it down, something begins, the scene remains unchanged for now. But the unseen shifts. Invisible gears begin to turn. Paths open where there were walls. People feel the pull without knowing why. Circumstances bend. Why? Because you wrote it. What you write becomes law in your world. Not because ink holds power, but because consciousness does. And when consciousness flows through your pen, it manifests into form. Write not as a beggar hoping for mercy. Write as a creator, knowing your word shall not return void. Do not write what you fear. Do not write what you lack. Write what is done. Write what is yours. Write the scene you wish to live in. Describe it, feel it, own it. And if doubt comes, write again. For repetition is the mother of belief. And what you repeatedly write, you soon believe. And what you believe, you become. You are not asking the universe, you are instructing it. You are not pleading, you are planting. Your words are seeds. The page is the soil. And your emotion is the water. Watch it grow. Watch it come. Because it must. Write as if it's already so. And then walk in that truth. When you write something down, you are not merely putting ink to paper or tapping characters into a screen. You are choosing. You are declaring. This is no idle action. It is the quiet moment where the soul rises and says, "It is done." To write with intention is to assume the reality of what you desire, not someday, not maybe, but now, in this moment, as truth. It is the most powerful form of self-communication, for it bypasses the chatter of the outer world and speaks directly to the inner world. Most live in the world of hoping, hoping something will happen, wishing for better days, waiting for someone or something outside of them to shift. But those who understand the secret know, hope is weak compared to assumption. Assumption is certainty without evidence. It is the quiet knowing that what you claim inwardly must unfold outwardly. And writing is the physical expression of that assumption. It is saying to yourself, to your subconscious, to the entire universe, "This is my reality." Why does this matter? Because your subconscious does not argue. It accepts. It believes what it is consistently told, especially when those messages are wrapped in emotion and repetition. And when you write something down, especially in the language of the present, in the tone of finality, you are impressing the subconscious with a command. You are handing it a blueprint and saying, "Build this." Whether you write, "I am now living in complete abundance," or "My body is whole and full of energy," you are giving your mind a story to believe in. And once believed, the world around you must reflect it. Think of writing as planting. Each word is a seed. The paper is the soil. But unlike a garden where you wait for the rain, here you create the rain by your emotional involvement. Feel it as you write. Feel the truth of it, not as something far away, but as something alive and already here. That feeling is the water that brings your desire to life. Without the feeling, it's dry, it's theory. But with it, it becomes a living assumption, vibration, a truth. This is not make-believe. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. You are aligning your inner world to what you wish to see in the outer. And once the inner world is aligned, the outer must bow to it. This is law. The law does not respond to fear, to begging, or to desperation. It responds to confidence, to belief, and to clarity. When you write with the energy of "it is done," you activate this law. But here is the key. You must believe as you write. You must suspend doubt, even just for a moment. The pen becomes your scepter, and the page becomes your kingdom. What you decree in faith, you shall rule over. You do not write to make it happen. You write because it is happening. Writing is not asking, it is assuming. And that assumption, once impressed deeply enough into your mind, must externalize. That's the secret most overlooked. Your world is a mirror. And when the inner says yes, the outer must reflect yes. So do not write in hope. Write in power. Write as one who knows their word creates worlds, because it does. The moment your words hit the paper, something unseen begins to shift. You may not feel it immediately. There may be no thunder, no flash of light, but something profound has occurred. A command has been issued. A signal has been sent into the field of infinite possibility. What you write, if written with belief and intention, is not just a thought captured, it is a decree. It is law spoken into motion. The pen in your hand is not just a tool. It is a wand, a scepter. It governs the unseen world and tells the visible world what must now become. The written word holds power because it is anchored in the present. Unlike fleeting thoughts or spoken wishes that dissolve in the air, writing stays. It holds its shape, it repeats its message. Every time you see it, every time you read it again. It is solid, structured consciousness. A vibration frozen in form. And vibration is the language of the universe. Everything responds to frequency. And when you write, your words carry the weight of your intention. They become a vibrational imprint that echoes into the world around you. Many speak of manifestation, of attraction, of bending reality. But so few understand the authority carried by the written word. The universe is not responding to idle chatter or hopeful thinking. It responds to conviction. It responds to clarity. When you write something down, especially in the language of the present, I am, I have, I feel, you are commanding an outcome. This is why journaling your desires, scripting your ideal reality, or affirming through writing can be so effective. It is not superstition. It is not about ink and paper. It is about resonance. When you write something with focus, with belief, with emotion, that sentence becomes a pulse, a code sent out to the universal intelligence. And because the universe does not question your authority, because it reflects your inner world, it begins to organize itself around what you have declared. But this power does not come from writing just once in passing. It comes from presence, from faith, from writing as a conscious act of creation. The power lies not in the act alone, but in the awareness behind the act. When you sit down to write, pause, breathe, feel the truth of what you are about to claim. Let your entire being align with it. Then write, not as someone wishing, but as someone stating. Think of the ancient kings who spoke and it was done. The pen in your hand makes you that king or queen over your own world. You do not write to try. You write to command. You write to set into motion a new pattern of being. You write because your words, once written with conviction, cannot be ignored. They must take form. So do not take this lightly. Do not write carelessly or in doubt. Every word written with feeling carries a signature, and that signature calls forth experience. Write what you desire as though it is already so, and return to those words daily. Feel them, believe them, live them. Because once written with truth, the universe will not deny you. It will obey. Imagination is the beginning of all creation. Every structure you see, every invention you use, every life you admire began as a thought, an unseen image held in someone's mind. But thought alone is fleeting. It passes, it shifts, it dances like mist in the air, until it is anchored, and writing is that anchor. It is the sacred bridge between the unseen and the seen. The moment you write down your desire, you are giving form to what was once only vapor. You are shaping the invisible into something tangible. This is no small act. It is the first step of embodiment. When you take a desire from your mind and put it into words, you are making it real. You are saying, this exists, this has taken shape. No longer is it simply floating in the world of abstract imagination. Now it has form, letter, structure, intention. This is the beginning of manifestation. Writing is the first physical expression of what you want. It is a blueprint, a sketch on the canvas of reality. You may not see the full painting yet, but the lines are drawn. The image is in motion. Most people don't realize that writing is more than recording thoughts. It is shaping them. When you write, you slow down enough to bring your scattered thoughts into focus. The fog of emotion and daydream becomes a clear path, and clarity is power. The universe does not move on vague longings. It moves on precise direction. Writing gives that direction. It says, this is what I see, this is what I claim. It defines the dream. And what is defined can be built. Think of a builder. He may have a vision in his mind, but until it is on paper, it cannot be shared, shaped, or constructed. The drawing must come first. Your words are that drawing. They tell the universe how to respond, how to align, how to construct. The clearer and more vivid the writing, the more solid the foundation. You are telling the field of reality, this is what I desire, this is the structure, now make it. Writing also commits you. When you write it down, you are not simply entertaining a fantasy, you are choosing a path. You are saying, this is important to me, this is part of my life, and that level of commitment carries energy. It feeds the desire, it keeps it alive, focused, breathing. Without it, desires fade, they lose shape. But written words endure. They remind you, they redirect you. They pull you back to the center of your vision when the world tries to scatter you. This is the true power of writing. It brings the dream down from the clouds and places it into your hands. It gives it shape. It gives it form. And once something has form, it can grow. It can evolve. It can become. So do not underestimate this sacred act. Write your desire, describe it, feel it, make it real through your words. For once it is written, it has begun. And what has begun in truth must find its way into reality. You have pulled it from the invisible. Now watch as it begins to take root and rise. Writing is more than an exercise. It is a revelation. It reveals the depth of your desire, the exact shape of your intention. When you begin to write, you are forced to face your thoughts. What was once foggy begins to sharpen. What felt overwhelming begins to organize itself. Writing demands that you become precise. You cannot write clearly about something you do not truly understand. In this way, writing forces clarity, and clarity is power. The universe does not move on confusion. It does not respond to indecision. It listens to vibration, to energy, to focus. A vague thought has weak vibration. It wavers, it hesitates, it contradicts itself. But a clear intention carries strength. It sends out a steady frequency, one that does not falter. And when you write with clarity, when your words are clean and purposeful, that frequency becomes a signal. The universe hears it. More importantly, it obeys it. If you were to enter a restaurant and say, I want something, the server would be lost. You could be brought anything or nothing at all. But if you clearly state, I want a warm bowl of vegetable soup with fresh herbs, there is no confusion. You have named it, you have claimed it, and now it can be prepared. The universe is the same. Vague desires create vague outcomes. But when you write with detail and certainty, you are placing an order with life itself. And life will serve what is clearly requested. Writing brings structure to emotion. It carves direction out of chaos. When you sit down to write your desire, you are not only shaping your outer request, you are shaping your inner belief. The more clearly you write what you want, the more clearly you begin to see it. And the more you see it, the more real it becomes in your mind. This inner reality is where creation begins. Once it becomes real to you on the inside, the outside must follow. Clarity is also an act of trust. When you are vague, it often means you are unsure, afraid, or doubtful. You fear being disappointed, so you keep your request broad. But when you are clear, you are saying, I believe this is possible. I believe I can have it. That boldness carries weight. It tells the universe that you are ready, that you have chosen. And choosing is how creation begins. This is why you must write with intention. Do not just write what sounds good. Write what you truly want. Describe it fully. Use your senses. How does it feel, smell, look, sound, taste? Make it vivid, make it alive, because the clearer you are, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. And your subconscious is the key to manifestation. There is no power in confusion, but there is great power in clarity. So let writing be your guide. Let it help you uncover what you truly want. Do not fear being specific. Specificity is not limitation. It is focus. It is direction. It is the spark that ignites manifestation. What you define clearly, life will define clearly for you. Your pen, your words, your vision, they shape your world. Let them be clear. Let them be bold. Let them speak loudly to the universe. And watch what answers. The power of the written word is not in the ink nor in the paper. It is in what happens within you every time your eyes meet those words again. Repetition of what is written rewires the mind. It reshapes the inner landscape. And since the outer world is nothing but a mirror of the inner, any shift within will be reflected without. This is the great secret. When you change what is happening inside, your world cannot help but obey. When you write a desire, it may feel foreign. It may even feel false. The mind will argue. The old beliefs will rise. Doubt will try to reclaim its territory. But do not let this deter you. That reaction is proof that something is moving, that the old structure is trembling. Keep writing, keep repeating, for repetition is the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious does not resist repetition, it absorbs it. With each repetition of your written desire, you are planting a seed. And like all seeds, it requires nourishment, attention, faith, and time. The first time you write, I am successful, your mind may whisper, no, you're not. But by the 50th time, that whisper grows quieter. By the 100th, it begins to echo your new truth. Eventually, there comes a moment when you write it, and it feels natural. It feels familiar. It feels true. That is the moment of transformation. When the inner has accepted it as real, the outer must follow. This is not magic, it is law. Your mind is the master architect of your experience. Whatever it accepts as true becomes the blueprint for your reality. Writing is the tool by which you submit new blueprints. If you do not rewrite the inner dialogue, the outer scene remains the same. But once the new script is repeated, read, and believed, the play must change. The actors must shift. The scenes must evolve. Life must mirror your inner convictions. This is why you must write deliberately. Write as though what you declare is already so. Write it in the present tense, not as something you hope for, but as something that is. I am wealthy. I am loved. I am at peace. Let these phrases become familiar terrain for your mind. Let them overwrite the old story. Your subconscious is always listening, always recording. The words you repeat are the thoughts it adopts. Make your writing a daily practice, not once or twice, but continuously, until your inner world is saturated with the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. This is how belief is born, not through effort, but through persistence. And once belief takes root, reality is quick to follow. This truth, as within, so without. If you can get the inner world to agree, the outer world has no choice. Reality is an echo. It does not lead, it follows. The words you write, repeated with emotion and conviction, are instructions to your deeper self, and your deeper self is the creator of all you see. So write not to wish, but to transform. Write until your soul recognizes the words as its own, until doubt dissolves and truth stands firm, until your mind no longer questions but accepts. And then watch as your life begins to match the script you wrote. The world will not resist what you have already claimed within. It will simply reflect it faithfully, powerfully, and perfectly. To write something down is to make a quiet but undeniable declaration, I believe. You may not shout it aloud, you may not parade it before others, but when you take the time to write your desire, you are not merely hoping, it is an act of knowing. You do not write what you question, you write what you expect. The pen does not beg, it commands. Writing is not an act of doubt, it is not a plea, it is a claim. It is a silent yet powerful affirmation that what you desire is already yours. Writing separates the wavering from the certain. Thought alone can drift. It can tangle with fear, conflict, and distraction, but when a desire is put to paper, it is anchored, it is chosen, it is given shape. And in that shape, belief finds its form. You are saying to the universe, this is who I am. This is what is mine. I do not wish for it. I do not hope for it. I accept it. This is where the unseen begins to take shape. The universe does not operate by words alone, but by energy, by the certainty behind the words. And when you write with conviction, your energy becomes clear, it becomes focused, it becomes undeniable. The written word, fueled by belief, becomes a vibrational instruction. And the universe, which always responds to inner conviction, begins to rearrange itself to match what you have affirmed. You see, you may speak a desire aloud and still doubt it, but you rarely write what you truly disbelieve. Writing requires intention, it requires presence, and with that presence comes power. When you write, I am abundant, you are not testing the idea, you are stepping into it, you are wearing it, you are imprinting it on the canvas of reality. This is not just a sentence, it is an act of embodiment. The more you write it, the more you believe it, and the more you believe it, the faster it manifests. Writing is sacred because it connects the mind and the body. It is a physical act fueled by spiritual intent. You feel the pen, you see the words, you reread them, and they echo back to you. Every repetition deepens the groove of belief within you. It is like carving a new path in your consciousness. Eventually, that path becomes a highway, and everything in your world begins to travel along it. This is why you must not write from desperation. Do not write as one who is waiting to be chosen. Write as one who has already chosen, who has already received. Speak not to get, but to affirm what is already within reach. The universe is not persuaded by pleading, it is moved by knowing. And written knowing is a powerful force. Let your journal be your altar. Let each word you write be an offering of faith. Even if the world says no, your written word says yes, and that is enough. Because once you say yes within, once you declare it with clarity and feeling, the universe has no choice but to obey. To write is to believe. To write is to command. And to write is to receive. So pick up your pen not as a seeker, but as a creator. Write not as one who waits, but as one who knows. And in that knowing, everything begins to move. In closing, understand this. The simple act of writing down your desires is one of the most powerful tools you possess. It is not mere wishful thinking or idle hope. It is a deliberate, confident declaration to the universe that you believe what you want is already yours. Writing transforms thoughts into commands, feelings into facts, and dreams into reality. Through clarity, repetition, and conviction, you reprogram your inner world so your outer world must follow. Trust in this process. Embrace the power of your written word, for it is the key that unlocks the door to your manifested life. Thank you for allowing me to share this truth with you today. May your pen always be guided by faith, your words be filled with certainty, and your manifestations come swiftly and abundantly.